4 o'clock, and we'll call the meeting to order for the new DPW Facilities Building Committee. I guess first order of business would be to just review the charge. Everybody's got a copy of that. And maybe at this point, I might ask Alan what's going to be expected of us. I mean, the only thing I got from John Kelly was that essentially they were going to treat us the same way the police station is, but maybe you could give us a quick outline as to.
Sure. Because you got the money appropriated to do the next phase of work, we had to modify the charge to the facility, DPW Facilities Building Committee. And you're still 5 members. Tom Daly and John Kelly serve as ex officio non-voting members. Ron Collins will serve temporarily as OPM until you select an OPM, which is going to happen fairly quickly. And you have the following charges, which are described in what you have in front of you, but develop a timetable for completion of the work that results in the bidding process being complete by March 31st, 2017. So final construction costs be included in the funding article for the annual town meeting warrant. Timeline should include monthly reports to the board and identify key milestones for decisions. 2, assist town administrator in the design and selection process to secure the services of an OPM, and you've interviewed 2 of the 4 prospective candidates as of today. And then you have to, because you exceed 10 million, you've got to follow Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 149, Sections 44D and a half, 44D and 3/4, and DCAM regulations, 8 CMR 9 and 10, to pre-qualify the general contractors and file sub-bid or bid contractors who were eligible to submit bids and sub-bids on this project. Maintain the project scope as outlined in the January 2016 New Public Works and Natural Resource Facility Schematic Design Report, recommending a 37,242 square foot facility with an estimated total project cost of $13,600. And work with the architect to refine the schematic design, develop information materials about the proposed project, conduct a public information program in advance of holding public hearings, and the 3-dimensional model should be considered for public display. 5, a minimum of 2 public hearings, 1 on a Saturday morning and 1 on a weekday evening, shall be convened by the committee. At this time, the project concept will be presented for the purpose of soliciting public input prior to making the recommendation to the Board of Selectmen. Following the public hearings, present the proposed design with the committee's recommendation to the Board of Selectmen for approval. Upon approval, the architect will be authorized to proceed to the design development phase of the project. 6, work with the architect to prepare the design development documents consisting of drawings and other documents to describe the size, character of the project as to architectural, structural, mechanical, electrical systems, materials, such other elements as may be appropriate. Present the final project design plans and construction budget to the Board of Selectmen for approval. And upon the approval, the architect will be authorized to proceed with the construction documents phase of the project. 7, work with architect to prepare the construction documents consisting of drawings and specifications, setting forth in detail the requirements for the construction of the project. Present the final plans to the Board of Selectmen for approval. Upon approval, the Board of Selectmen, the architect will be authorized to solicit bids, file sub-bids from pre-qualified general contractors, and file sub-bid contractors with a due date of no later than March 31st, 2017. Total construction costs will be published in the warrant articles for funding approval at town meeting on May 8th, 2017, and at the poll on May 16th, 2017. If funding is approved, the committee will continue to review and report the progress of the project until its completion. During this phase, the committee will serve in an advisory capacity of the Board of Selectmen, Town Administrator. The committee will make recommendations involving any discretionary decisions that may arise, including interior furnishings, equipment, and paint color selections. And finally, the committee will conduct their meetings in accordance with the open meeting law, submit minutes to the town clerk's office within 30 days of each meeting. approved June 15th, 2016. So you've got 7 months to do a lot of work.
Yeah. Just to bring you guys up to speed, the OPM, review process has been pretty well underway already. I've been sitting in on that, and we, initially there were 10 applicants. We've kind of narrowed it down to 4, but it is kind of in a real fast track.
Can I ask you a question on that? Last time we had decided as a group that we would have 2 people involved in that process when we looked at the last contract we went on.
Yep.
What happened this time? How does it end up that you're reviewing it, none of us are, we don't have a second person, we haven't talked about it?
If I can, timeframe, let's back up a touch if I may.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman. So, you guys know what an OPM, Owner's Project Manager, actually is? Are you all familiar?
Yeah. We talked about it last time pretty extensively.
Okay, so basically this is gonna be your right-hand individual, our right-hand individual, to drive this project. In fact, what I want to say is you look at the, you look at that charge and you're going, oh my God, what did I sign up for here? Okay? At this stage in the game, per state statute, the town is required to hire an owner's project manager, which he is a professional project manager, and what he does is drive projects. He drives Jeff Alberti. He makes sure Jeff Alberti's milestones are hit. He is our right-hand person, or she, I should say, because we don't know yet, to make this project go and be on time and hit those milestones. The other thing before I get to where we are in the OPM status is I was going to print it, I didn't bring it with me. We have a contract with Weston & Sampson at this point, and there are milestones in there, in that contract. I think like 3 of them, give or take, where during the different phases of design, Weston & Sampson, myself, Alan, we will all get together with the owner's project manager here before you, and you guys will be presented where the design is, the cost estimates are at, and all that stuff. So before they go to the next phase, basically it gets blessed before they move on. So I just kind of want to say, even though that looks like a ton of heavy lifting, from your standpoint, it's not you've got the staff, the people in place to help you with that lifting, and you're going to have an owner's project manager who will be, the right-hand person to drive this project forward for us, which, it helps me, it makes me nervous going, oh my God, this is a big project. I've done chapter 1 so it's a big job. So the OPM process, we put an RFP out. We took a couple months ago, give or take, we took the police department OPM RFP, we adapted it. Ron and I, working with John Kelly, put it together. We put it out in the street. I asked John about the selection committee a few weeks ago, and pretty much it was going to be 3 in-house staff people, myself, Frank, and Ron looking at it, but you wanted to open it up to the committee. You guys didn't have anything booked, and Peter said that he would sit in and help. Okay.
Yeah, how that happened was, this whole thing was really kind of fast-tracked. I was asked to sit on this, and this was literally, we got a stack of proposals from 10 people, and we were told that.
I think we had enough time to be notified. I don't think it's, I think it's pretty important to make sure we get the right person, and last time I think it was very effective to have 2 people in that process, and I think you're doing a great job. And I think, you're like a superhero almost. But I just don't think I think we should have probably had another person, or at least brought it out to the group that, hey, by the way, I'm doing this. Yeah. Because it's not as if you came to us and said, we don't have time to meet, go ahead. Yeah. It was never brought to our attention. And last time, we specifically went through the process, had 2 people very actively involved in that. I think it worked great. Okay. But now it's already started, so I feel slighted. Yeah, and I don't think this looks like a lot of, we're going to get through the work, it's not that big of a deal. But I think knowing who that person is going to be so important to us, right? And since as the taxpayers, we represent the owners, then I'm concerned that this is in process and want to see it change.
Anyone else interested? Not that I can change it, I'm just asking.
You're already well into it, you said, aren't you?
I'd be happy to sit and take a look at it.
Monday at 9 and 11 in this room.
Monday, 9 and 11 are, we reviewed 10 RFPs. We interviewed 2 today, we have 2 more on Monday.
Yeah.
And then we want to move on, making a recommendation to John Kelly. I'm not the appointing authority on this, John is. I'd have to talk to him. Do you want to throw another member on?
Yeah, I'm just sure,
If
it's just one of those things we've got, John's got a million things going on, so I'm sure people didn't have time to think about
Are
it.
you interested in reading the 10 RFPs and ranking them and being part of the process at this point?
Well, you've already ranked them and already are part of the process, right? So you've already gone through that step.
We're not done. I mean,
Well,
if you were interested in
Sure.
reading 10 RFPs.
Have you looked at it, have you guys did the 10?
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
reduced, to 4 candidates, and I think there was a pretty, certainly for 2 of them, there was a very, very strong consensus as to, everybody kind of said, yeah, that, they came right to the top of the pile.
Okay.
But,
Have they already been interviewed, those 2?
2 have, no, not the,
2 at the top?
what
Unofficial
was initially.
Yeah, unofficial, yeah.
Yeah.
And no
Those would
selection.
be- those would
So
be-
do you want me to review, I mean, if it's okay with, it's up to everybody else to decide if this is appropriate. This is just my own opinion. But if we decide to go ahead, and I'm going to participate, do you need to have me review all 10? Like if I say, oh, I like number 5 and 6, are you going to interview them? Or is this something where
The
we're
way
moving
the
so
process-
fast that we're already on 4?
The way the process worked was, we sat down as a group last week, after we reviewed 10, and we sat down as a group and we collectively decided who would, first of all, how many you want to interview? And the group decided that it would be advisable to interview 4. There were 2 candidates that everyone agreed pretty quickly that we want to talk to these 2. Not that they're the top, but
Yeah.
everyone quickly agreed that these 2 we want to talk to. The other 2, we debated for quite a while on the other 2, which exact ones, and we came up with some consensus on that. Again, it's not up to me. I can ask the question. I want it as open, as big as possible, Dan, you know
Yeah,
that.
just like last time.
So.
Pretty simple.
If possible, we could get involved with the interviews, have you involved with the interviews on Monday, which just so happen are the more of a consensus 2 that we all agreed on. And it'd be up to you on, if you want to do it, if you want to read the 4, if you want to read the 10. And because what we do is, let's say you read the 10, and we sat down and kind of talked about it a little bit again. Again, it's going to be a consensus conversation. There was like one that I know Pete was pretty strong on, and the rest of us weren't. You know what I mean? There's no right answer in this.
Yeah.
It's your own.
It's the same process we went through before.
Mhm.
You 3 are the decision makers. Basically, Pete's not a decision maker. There's 3 people
Well, on
appointed by
the-
John.
On the committee, the decision maker is John, but on the committee, he has an equal stance as the rest of us.
What were the other 3? Okay,
Myself, Frank Nichols, and Ron Collins.
okay, good.
So it's an equal, if you go on, if John says, yeah, put Dan on, then you got an equal say in the whole thing. And I don't mind waiting a few extra days for you to catch up on reading the
No,
RFP.
I don't need a couple extra days to catch up.
Just saying, I don't mind.
No,
You want 4, you want 10?
I'll take 10. If that's what it takes to do the work, I'll do 10.
Okay. Before you leave today, God willing, be able to get you 10. Why don't you guys talk a little bit, and I'll get them, and I'll make sure
Okay.
if John.
What do you think about this?
But,
Yeah, it's
hey,
up to you guys,
I'm all on board with that. I mean,
Okay.
like I said, obviously, there were a couple of things that got in the way here. Obviously, there's the holidays, scheduling the meeting, and like I said, literally, this stuff has happened in the last week and a half. I mean, I put
Oh, yeah.
a pile of 10 of these things, and it was, yeah, fine, we gotta get back and get rolling here, and it was suggested that, you do sit in on this, so, I volunteered to do it as, more along the lines of expediting things rather
Yeah.
than.
So for John, it's just really saying, we'd like
Want another member?
to, it's my opinion, we just do it the same way
Yeah.
as last time. It seemed to work well.
I assume everyone's good with this?
Does anybody else want to do it?
No, I think you expressed the opinion early on, it was supposed to include 2 members, and I think that's your point.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's best. I just think it's a good way to do it.
Yep.
I'll be right back. We go.
I think last time, I think it was you and I was on it last time, right? Or who was it?
Yes.
I think that worked pretty well.
Yep.
We got a lot of questions answered. I felt 100% comfortable with exactly the decision was made.
Yep.
And I thought that was really clear.
Yep.
And I think it's such an important person.
Yeah, it is, and they are, they're gonna be involved, like, from the get-go. And
Yeah.
one of the.
Oh, yeah.
One of the reasons for speeding up the timeline here is, John Kelly wants to have, and Tom, they want to have a contract by July 29th. So there's, it's been fast-tracked with the
Yeah, I
idea that
understand
we can dive right into this,
Yeah.
but they are going to be our reps in,
yeah.
right from the get-go. I mean, as far
Yeah.
as, design review, just a lot of different levels.
A lot of work. Well, we're paying, the budget for that is over 100,000, right?
125, yeah.
125,
Yeah, I think.
and that's not their full-time job.
Well, we're talking about somebody that's going to be there literally almost every single day on that job site, in addition to reviewing.
Going forward after,
No, this is like right away, before they get into, they're going to be involved in the design process.
Yeah.
They're involved with, any kind of public presentation stuff. They're going to be providing us backup that way. There are representatives on this project in just virtually every stage of the way.
I'm just thinking about the time. I mean, I'm sure it's gonna work great, but
Yeah,
They're
It's a lot
going
of
to be
money.
involved in the design?
yes.
I thought they were project managers.
They're the owner's rep, and they're on obviously a very advanced technical level of this. So, I mean, some of the firms have been kind of high on the architectural end of things, but some of them have their own costing in-house people. There's a lot of value engineering. They're going to be our troubleshooters and literally the bird dog on this thing from beginning to end.
so we'll get more than just them. We get their organization?
Yes,
Okay,
yep.
that makes sense.
And, some of them have, like I say, in-house costing people. Some
Right.
have, most of them have a pretty extensive in-house staff of engineering people, and whether it's, for mechanical engineering, plumbing, for, timeline stuff, it's very, very involved.
So it's not
so-
a single person?
Oh, no.
It's more than
No.
three.
One of,
That's in addition to the people that are actually building it, right? So in
Right.
addition to the people that are actually designing it,
Right.
that whole team, that's a big team, 900,000 for that.
right,
And the people who are building it, so they have their own staff. This is our eyes and ears.
Yeah.
Since, theoretically, the town needs somebody to watch and give us their opinion, their deep professional opinion at every step.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
But
They
the-
don't tell anybody what to do. They tell us what,
Yeah.
hey, that guy over there should be wearing a bow tie.
I'm just surprised project management would be involved that far up front. I thought they took a project and managed it.
once you get over, I think it's $10 million, I think we also get into a lot of state regulation stuff, where a lot of this stuff is mandated. I mean, we're gonna get into commissioning systems, and so this is literally a soup to nuts kind of a service. This isn't, one guy sitting in a shack who's babysitted a bunch of projects. It's a very, very extensive backup and cross-check, and literally, I mean, they're gonna be involved right from the get-go.
$125,000 worth. Right, is that what you
Yeah.
said?
And not to exceed was the,
It's on a calendar year, right? Or is that just
no,
this year?
no, it's a project bid. So in other words, whenever, from beginning to end, whenever we
125.
start this thing, right to the day that we go in there and occupy it.
Oh, that's how much, okay, so if we decide not
This
to
is-
build, they still get their 125?
Well, the assumption is that we are going to build. I can't answer you that question as to, if this thing,
Present.
Winner.
happy?
Present.
There you go. Before you go, if I may interrupt, before you go, I gotta give you copies of the rating sheets, one for each one, so it's all consistent.
Okay,
Holy
good.
shit.
I'm
And I'll
here.
give you the RFP so you can read that and know what the criteria are.
So we have some questions for you, Tom, that can be very helpful.
Uh-oh.
The OMP, is that payment of 125 20,000, whatever it ends up being negotiated, whatever John ends up negotiating.
Yeah.
What's the time period for that, or their
That would
commitment?
be from, let's say we enter into contract from August 1, give or take, by the time we go through this process and get them on board, to town meeting.
Okay, so it's only the first year.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not construction.
That's not for construction. So we'd have another, so the concept is also usually the OPM, I'm not saying by law, but I'm saying
Yeah.
usually the OPM you have, if you like them, you carry them through to construction.
Absolutely.
that's,
Okay.
yeah,
That's
that's,
what we did with
that's,
Pomeroy and the police station. Carried Rich Pomeroy forward.
Okay.
Don't tell them who we're interviewing, have you?
yeah, no.
Mystery?
No, because if you want to read 10, you got to rate them without any help from anyone else, and
Okay.
then come up with your opinion, and then we sit down and go through them.
Okay,
That's all.
sounds good. But I'll know on Monday.
Depends how fast the reading is.
Speed reader.
He isn't halfway across the world now.
If I could read English, I'd be all
I'll
set.
get you this stuff in the way out. It's not.
Okay.
It took me about an hour each to get through them.
Yeah.
In rate.
Yeah.
When do these two public hearings amount to?
Is that presenting the project?
That'll be after we, have the design, and it's ready to go to, town meeting.
If we decide to go ahead,
That's- Yeah,
it's kind of what
Yeah.
the police station did. They had two public
Yep.
meetings.
yep,
Generally March and April.
yep.
And it's full board in front of answering questions. Pete does all the talking.
No, I don't. All right, so I guess the next thing will be, when we're gonna need to meet again, and what we should expect to be doing between now and that timeframe.
So let me tell you where we're at, I guess.
Yeah.
All of you while we're here. So we're in the process, the next significant thing is that, get the OPM on board. And hopefully we'll have that under contract by August 1. Some of the people we've talked to so far, schedule-wise, based upon the nature of the building being, steel, prefab, construction, this and that, no one really seems to think we have any time frame issues driving this project forward and having ready bids in hand for April 1st. Everyone seems to think that's fine, not a problem, so that's good.
Bids in hand, April 1st?
April 1st, bids in hand for town meeting.
Oh, we have to have a copy of the bid, not the bids actually accepted.
No.
Or submitted. Okay, so a copy of the bids, yeah.
We've got, they submit their
Right,
bids
okay.
Friday for one, so we know what the budget, we know what the numbers are, and then we approve it at town meeting. Actual
the-
construction numbers,
Right, but the bids are not,
not awarded or anything.
right, but we're not going out and saying, okay, here's 10 companies. Are we doing that in February, or?
It'll be done whenever, January, February, it'll be out the door, out for actual bid.
For the bid?
Filed, the filed sub bids, plus then the regular bidding, the general contractor bidding on top of that.
Did I miss that in here?
This is just the revised charge to us?
Right, but that's part of the activity, is that the bid has to be done by town meeting.
Yep, bids in hand by town meeting.
So those are not, so those bids, the way it works is those people don't know, I mean, they're just bidding, but it's not like a definite that there's even a project until the town votes.
Right, and it says that in the bid documents. We are
Okay.
bidding this project, it's contingent upon funding at the town meeting and the ballot question.
Okay.
That's how we do.
So the bid doesn't happen after the town meeting, bid happens before, so we know.
Because you have to have a firm number to go back to town
And
meeting.
they're held accountable for those numbers. They can't back out of those bids. They're
Bids are
bonded.
good for so many days, there's bid
Right.
bonds submitted.
Okay?
Right. Oh, yeah. This is heavily regulated construction,
Right.
chapter 149. I mean, this files sub bids for the plumbing trades, the masons, all that stuff.
Right. Now, I don't mean to get off, but now with that in mind, I wasn't going to bring it up, but is there, and I know that Weston wasn't too excited about this, but there's not a way we should contact X number of people out there and say, what can we do to make this project more attractive to you from something we're not thinking, and just see who comes back? No obligation, nothing else. So I might say, well, if you did X, it'd make our life a lot easier, because you're trying to put a square peg in a round hole.
Well, that's kind of what the
Yeah.
OPM process is about.
Well, that's what the OPM process is, but it's funny to me that you have these people that are going to be bidding, but they never, until they see the document, it's not the way it usually happens in corporations. And I'm not trying to say things, but in a corporation, I don't care if you're General Motors or anybody else, you basically take that document and give it to all your potential bidders. So they could tell you, hey, you know what? If you did this, this, and this, you're getting free consulting, plus you're able to lower your bid. And every corporation world does this every time they do a big project for anything over a couple $100,000.
On our end, the value engineering is driven a bit by the owner's project manager, who brings in and looks at everything from, we hire this individual to step back, and, and these are people who are professionals in the field, and that's why this process is important, to look at that and where we can get the value engineering. With the way Mass General Law, Chapter 149 works, we don't know. This is over $10 million, so it's all pre-qual through DCAM, Division of Capital and Asset Management. It's a process, and this is what Mass General, the legislators have said, this is how you are going to do this.
Right, I understand the process, but
Right.
is there anything to stop us from going to people ahead of time and saying, this is our plan? Do you have anything you're thinking of that makes this more expensive that you could tell us? What are we missing here? It just seems, we don't have to do it, but, because it's not my
You have to
money,
be
it's just a
careful-
part
you
of my
have to
money, but.
Be careful of favoritism, you know what I mean? Like, who do you talk to? How do you pick who you talk to? Is
Talk
it a friend
to-
of a friend of a friend?
No, talk to 15 companies, just go to the ones that are their standard bidding people and say, here's what we're thinking about, do you have anything to tell us? And, they might come back and say, what are you talking about? We're not going to give you free consulting, we're not going to do this for you, you do all the work. Or they might come back and say, hey, if you made a square hole here, this would be a lot cheaper for us. Or if there was a time element, or something else that we're not even thinking of. I'm just trying to see if there would be cheaper, because I've seen people save a lot of money that way. But I understand it's a regulated area, and maybe it's not appropriate.
Well, at what point do you, at some point you have to get the job done, so, and if you go out to 15 people and ask for 15 opinions, which you're gonna get, now what are you gonna do with that information?
Pick and choose it. See if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Probably I've done it many times before, and it works, but it never in public section. But it just so happens, when I talked to Shepherd Steel,
Yep.
they basically said, you can't believe the projects we see, how stupid they are. And how they cost them 50% more than they should have, and we have no way to talk to them about that. So I talked to Rick about that, the guy who owns it. He said, this is, they're not a bidder on this, but one of the biggest steel erectors in New England, and he said, yeah, people do stupid things all the time, and we all talk about it, the vendors, right, behind the scene, just see what those idiots did, but no one ever exposes it so that people can take advantage of it. I said, would it be a good idea? He said, every when they do it, and they have a sketch, they give it to every architect out there. Tell us what we're doing wrong if you're thinking about bidding about this. When they just built their last building, they did that to everybody who was involved in steel rectifying. That's Yale. That's how they do business. But we don't have to do it that way.
What's the incentive, I don't know, what's the incentive for that person you're giving it to spend the time
That's the question.
looking at it?
That's the question. In a corporate setting, you can build good feelings because it's not as regulated. In this one, it might be that they all say, no, we're not going to spend a minute because we don't know if we're getting any revenue. So that's a good point. There might not be.
Low bid, but it's low, in this case, it's a low pre-qualified bid.
Well, no, if someone gave us an idea, I won't know it until it happens, but if someone says, if you made this thing out of clay, you could do it for $1. Where I'll be like, it's not going to happen. But I'm just saying, it's.
I hear you.
I just think someone has some knowledge out there that we could get for free, and I'm always interested in that.
In other words, you're going to pick other people's brains.
Pick them as much as we can and suck
Right.
everything out of them
Right.
so we can
Right.
get the best price for our taxpayers.
And I guess on the tax, on the way the public sector does business is they do it through the RFP process. You go through the RFP process to hire that consultant, like, Weston and Sampson, because that's the guy you think is the most qualified to help you in this. I'm just saying, this is the way they do it,
Yeah.
in this case, and now, you never had to do a notice project manager up until, I think, '04,
Yeah.
is when the state made that a requirement for communities that don't have the expertise in-house to run a job.
Yeah.
It costs you more money, several $100,000 when you're looking at a big job total. Hopefully,
Yeah,
you're
I-
getting the value out of that.
I understand that, but the whole thing is, do you pick people's brains ahead of time to try to get it lower, to try to learn something? But if it's not, that's the only question here.
Yeah, I
You
think-
pick people's brains.
Relying on you know, in this sector, and I'm not saying it's right, trust me, we're overregulated. First one to say it, okay? First one to say it. But in the way we deal with it here is, you know, you hire the consultant who does that. You know what I mean? Who's got his ear to the ground all the time, working with these contractors.
Can we ask the OPMs to do that?
The OPM will be doing value engineering. And
No, but can we ask the OPM to go and talk to
Oh, yeah.
10 vendors? I mean, is that part of the contract? We can say, hey, we want you to go out and shop our thing ahead of time to see if there's anything anybody comes up with.
I just can't visualize why, as a corporation, I'm gonna take somebody's plan and say, dedicate a guy to look at it and review it. And say, let me, you know what?
They do it for almost every project in the private, for large buildings or private
Not the ones
sector.
I've been involved with, but maybe I was involved with the wrong ones, I don't know.
No, they actually bring it to people and say, here's what we're thinking about doing, what do you think about this? The architects do that, lots of people do that. Because they have builders that they know.
Well, I think,
I'm not talking about a house, I'm talking about a pretty large
No,
size.
I
yeah.
understand, I know that.
you know, I think there's a pretty good feeling so far about this process in that, first off, particularly with the Weston and Sampson thing, I mean, they've done, what, 100 DPW buildings. You know, one thing that has come up with the OPM thing was, you know, how many outfits actually did have some DPW background. You're gonna find that, you know, some of these guys are real heavy on schools and police stations and libraries, and others have, you know, have their own niches. But you know, I think we're,
You got experts, definitely. I think West End, whoever we get from OPM is going to have an expert and lots of DPWs, that's a given.
Yep.
It's okay, I mean, I'm beating a dead horse, it's just, they're not going to go anywhere, so forget about it. It's all right.
That's a good thought.
We'll know after the project, we'll know. At the end, someone might say, if you would have made it out of clay, and we'll go. Then I can say, hey, see, I told you guys. But it's not worth it, you know what I mean? It's not resonating, so I understand.
On schedule, just, you know, meeting next, I think that you were talking about meeting next. I'd have to look at the Weston Sampson milestone standpoint. I mean, I don't see a lot of lifting for you guys for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, we're just getting off the ground, getting the contracts in place. You know, we're doing this, you know what I mean? But getting the contracts in place. And I forget when, like, the first milestone is.
Probably meeting the OPM before that, though, and talking with the OPM somehow.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good one.
They'll getting paid.
Yeah, absolutely, that's a good one. You want to say mid-August, meet with the OPM, early August?
Yeah,
That's a good one. Bring Jeff down and the OPM, the
Yeah.
whole team,
be perfect.
hear your expectations.
Yeah,
I think that's a good one.
exactly.
okay.
Is there something, last time we had to have a second party come in and take a look at Weston's work?
Oh, peer review?
Yeah. Is there a peer review on this activity? No more peer reviews? Okay. Good.
Not planned, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not required. Last time, there was a requirement,
Right.
kind of, the 15,000, all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
yes, there was.
Okay,
Not at this level.
good.
So, do we want to, everybody comfortable setting a date in mid-August?
No.
Actually, maybe we could even do it earlier. Yeah, like first week in August. Why does that work for you?
Well, yeah, it does, but I'm thinking, the critical thing is architect, you, OPM, Tom,
Yeah.
in the same room,
Yeah.
looking at that calendar, because you're gonna wanna be meeting with the Board of Selectmen once a week. And if you look at the charge, there are periodic points where you have to get approval from us to go ahead.
Yep,
Get those in the schedule so that we're not slowing you down,
yep.
Could you say it one more time, Alan? You said we have to meet with the selectmen once a week?
once a month.
Oh, once
Yeah,
a month.
Yeah, we're supposed to return a monthly report.
Right.
Yes, I know,
And
yeah.
the way that works, to your advantage, that's on the video and it's public, so
Yep.
people know that there's a DPW project coming up next May.
Yep.
So the week of the 2nd,
August 4th?
August 4th is good for me. That's Thursday, the 4th, right?
It's a Thursday, yeah?
Then the-
That's a month from now, about.
Yep. Everybody good with that?
Yep,
Okay, well, I'll
same time.
set this up. Yeah, 4 o'clock, work for everybody?
Yeah,
When?
August 4th,
I'll put it on
Thursday,
Jeff's-
4 o'clock.
I'll get it on Jeff's calendar so he's aware.
That'd be great.
And who's going to attend that meeting?
Jeff will be here, and also the OPM, will have a contract at that time. Right? Anybody else? Think of?
Yep.
Is there anybody else who will attend? Just those two vendors, right, on the outside?
Yeah.
And Tom will be here.
Yeah, maybe we can get Ron here and
Yeah?
Ron will be here and have a good meeting of the minds as we kick off. It's kickoff meeting.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And maybe we can get a calendar, as Alan was saying, of all the,
Critical times.
yeah.
I've, question I kinda asked, the 2 interviews we did today was just the first thing you guys do when you walk in the door. First thing they said was schedule. Set the schedule, set the milestones, because they drive it. They're the ones who make sure that the engineer, and even us, because there's things we have to do, that we get there to meet our goals in time. It's all about schedule, cost, and quality. Right? They both said that, so it's a common thing, so that's good.
And once you get it to John Kelly, it goes on the agenda planner for the Board of Selectmen, and we're scheduled 9 months out, so it's done. Don't have to worry about it until the meeting comes up, or the Friday before, if you want to send anything out.
Yeah, Friday before we're gonna have everything. Because we get holy heck if we don't.
How do you see the OPM working with us? Being at every one of our meetings?
At this point, probably yes.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, these guys are gonna be seriously embedded.
And so they're-
They go everywhere.
So it'd be your main contact?
Hours, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably mostly you, besides our meetings, right?
yeah, among, many,
Yeah.
but,
Like I said, they're the ones who drive it at this point.
Do you tend to use the OPM versus talking to Jeff? So we will have a more vocal time.
Good, what we really, I think, all want is we want a good relationship, all three. The owner,
Right.
the designer, and the OPM. Everyone working together to come to a single,
Right.
goal and good, positive working relationship. That's key. That's what you want. You don't want, people fighting, through the job kind of thing.
So how do you see your relationship versus ours with the OPM? Do they report to you, on a daily basis, are they talking to you and you're,
The day-to-day working stuff, I'm sure I'll be talking to them a little more than you guys will be. Just
Okay.
day-to-day details of process and moving forward.
kind of what's happened with Jeff in the past?
Yeah.
Okay.
So good.
anybody else have anything else they'd like to add to this? Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved. Second?
Second?
Okay.
Where are we moving?
Do I hear a vote? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned
5-0.
until the 4th.
Probably won't Ron in on that meeting.